Hello Tom, it's Darren. I'm recording this video to give you some insights into how and why I built the website the way I built it. So this is WordPress, as you know. This is what it looks like on the front end. I've made it mobile responsive, so on different screen widths it displays differently. You can see, for example, that the logo changes from that longer version into a more compact version. So on iPad and iPhone, in portrait mode it displays a little bit differently, and all the content collapses into like a central vertical column, so the page becomes much longer to match the narrower screen width. The back end of WordPress looks like this. Now I'll be giving you an offline version of WordPress to play with. I'll be giving you something called Instant WordPress, and inside Instant WordPress you've got an exact copy of this site as it is currently. So I'll just open this up and show you what I'm talking about. It's set to use the Chrome browser, so when you open it, it opens in Chrome. You've got the WordPress front page. If I click that, that will open up a localized version of your public website, and it's this that if you want to learn WordPress, you want to log into this version and play around rather than poking around in the live version at midlanddoctor.co.uk. If you want to log in to Instant WordPress, click WordPress admin and enter the credentials that I've supplied to you. I know it says to use admin and password there, but I've taken that off and I've supplied a password and username. In fact, it's the same one that you would use to log into the live version. So just want to get that out of the way. So we used the colour scheme that you suggested. You did say you wanted to use green and black. I obviously didn't use a black. I went for a dark grey gradient instead, and I also chose to use white. And the idea I had was to mock up the website with a doctor theme, because the name of your business is Midland Damp Doctor. So that's why I started to use these medical symbols here in the top nav bar. I also use phrases like call to make an appointment rather than just get in touch. Make an appointment is what you do with a doctor, obviously. And I've used the phrase book appointment there. And you can see that when I hover over these menus, you get some drop down menus and things. These are all controlled in the back end of WordPress, and they can be customized. We've got Google Plus links, we've got YouTube links, we've got badges here in the header. If I click 30-year guarantee, that goes through to your sovereign approved contractor page. If I click my builder, that should go through to my builder. This front page is the only page that is actually like this. The other pages are using the typical WordPress header, content, sidebar, and then footer area. This is a footer, and this is a footer as well. However, those footers are actually on the front page as well. So the only thing that the front page doesn't have is that sidebar effect. You can see that we've got these widgetized areas with images. If you click these, they will go through to each page, which you can also get to by using the navigation links at the top. We've also got your case study feed here as well. So you did say you wanted you said you wanted a gallery originally, but we obviously agreed in the end to do like a magazine style news feed. So this is a case study 1, and this has got a write-up about what you did, plus images of the work that you did. I've also included the feedback of the customer, and I've wrapped it in this box to denote that it's the quote. It also gives a bit of visual interest and variety. And then at the bottom we've got make an appointment, and that make an appointment tends to be at the bottom of every page except 1 or 2. If we take a look at About Us, this is all the content that you supplied. It's been added and formatted. I've created graphics and things. Again, there's the call to action. You've got serving the Midlands. I created these in Photoshop. I've also linked through to the pages about the problems and the solutions. Got testimonials, so for example we can go through to a page about Google reviews and eventually be able to put in a real review there. So when somebody leaves a review fee on your Google Plus page, it'd be a good idea to copy it over and insert it in here, and then if people want to see the original review, they'll click here and this will go through to your Google Plus page, the actual Google Plus, and once you've got your reviews you'll see all those reviews there. Done the same thing with direct reviews, so I'll just be tweaking a few final things before I actually declare it finished. But you can see here this is the same testimonial from case study 1, and the idea is that you can click read case study and that will go through to the case study. So if people are reading testimonials that customers are giving you, you will actually be linking through to the corresponding case study. And we've got a contact page, obviously quite an important one. And instead of using an image, I've actually used a real Google map. This is an embedded iframe, and if I just resize the page, it's mobile responsive. We've got your address, we've got a link to a larger map just in case the iframe doesn't actually load. Some people might have disabled iframes for whatever reason on their device, so it's always good to have a text link. Get a quote and arrange survey. I used stock photo of a doctor, and I've also interlinked your About Us page and the testimonials page. There's your landline number, the mobile number, some details about availability, some details about social media. I've also given email details. So I've not hyperlinked the email. One of the reasons is that spam is a huge epidemic online. I find that if you make it an active hyperlink like this one here, if you make that an active hyperlink, it can tend to increase the rate of spam. You get a lot of spam bots crawling the web just looking for email addresses. But anyway, people can always highlight it and copy it into their favorite email client, or they can write it down and manually compose an email. Failing that, they can always use the instant contact form, and I'm actually logged into your webmail now, and I've been testing the form this afternoon and it works, and these are some of the emails that I wrote earlier on. So you type in your name, your email, your subject, and what services you require. You solve the captcha and click send, and if it sends, it will say successfully sent. If it doesn't send for whatever reason, it will say sorry, it wasn't sent, please call us on, and it gives the visitor your phone number. So when the message arrives, it'll say from such and such, name such and such, subject testing, services required. And you can see there it says seller conversion. That was because when I sent the email, I selected seller conversion. I'll tell you what, let's send another one now, just so we can see that it's actually working. So let's say I want all of these, and I'll type in a message. Let's say just put testing, doesn't really matter what we put. We need to solve the captcha 7M FP, and then click send, and it says it was successfully sent. So if I check the email now, might have to wait for it to refresh. I've been signed out, that's why. There we go. Services required, rising damp, penetrating damp. So all those ones that we ticked are now showing up in the email, which is useful for you. And you can also see that when you click the contact page, it also automatically selects the phrase book appointment on the secondary nav bar. That is because that button, book appointment, if you click that also, so contact and book appointment, they're actually pointing at the same page. So you see, some people might want to contact you to ask a question, some people might want to do business with you right there and then. So we're just putting a different angle on the same thing, if that makes sense. Let's take a look at the services page. This is the content that you supplied. I've edited all the images and resized them and added them appropriately. I've used formatting and bullets and things like that. We've also linked out to some external pages. There's some danger with health and damp related to, not having your house damp proofed. So we've linked through here to about how damp and mold can affect your health. That was your idea, wasn't it, to link externally? We've got lots of good content. We've also linked through to the British Standards website about some of the British Standards compliance, and as ever at the bottom of the page we've got a call to action which is saying to contact us now, and if they click contact us now, that will go through to the contact page. It's the same with all these pages, so they've all got this image at the top with the content and the formatting and the call to action. And I think I should probably just take a moment to show you how I created these images. So if I go into the folder for Midland Damp Doctor and go to featured images, these are all the images that were added to WordPress, and these are all the same size, 700 by 400, and they've all been labelled appropriately. So it's Midland Damp Doctor followed by the name of whatever. So for example, you've got about, condensation, contact, contract. These are all optimized for Google image search, because some people might do a search in Google Images and you want to make sure that you're getting you're maximizing your chances of discovery through search, whether it's images or standard Google search. If I open up the Photoshop document, we can take a look at how I've arranged the groups. See, I've created a hierarchy to make it a bit easier to manage, and I'll be sending you these documents on a USB stick. These are yours to keep. I recommend that you get hold of Photoshop because it is like the de facto design software. So you can see that we've got all these groups here. It's not visible at the minute. If I just click it, it becomes visible, and there's a picture of you under who we are. That was for the about page. Sovereign approved contractor. See, you can see how it's all put together. And this is why should you, I know not on fair trades, but if you ever do join them, you've got the option of using this image. Serving the Midlands. Can you see? So every time I add a new image, I'll create a new group and I'll label it accordingly, because I think that's the right way to do it. It's the best way to do it. And to add a new group, you go to Layer, Group, and then you can create groups inside groups. So if I was to create another group, I can move that inside group one, and then you've got like a hierarchy, you see. And I do that with all client websites, because if they hire me again to work on their website in the future, it's easier for me to retrace my steps. And of course you might want to use a different web designer, and if that's the case, you can supply them with something that's easier to work with, rather than just dumping a load of files on them which don't have any order. So that's the case with all the images, all the featured images, and also the case studies. I should mention we've got a dedicated folder for case study 1. All the images were resized and labelled, etc. So let's have a look at the sidebar. These images are basically linking through to the pages that are in the primary nav, and also at the bottom you've got the same navigation bar again, but just reworded. It's just so that if someone's in mobile mode and they're on a very narrow device screen width, these menus tend to collapse, and it's not always immediately obvious that you can expand them. So it's always useful just to have that at the bottom, just in case. So it's easily available and it's quickly accessible. You can see also in the footer I've added a mini map. This is actually a Google map, not an image. So you can scroll in and out, and if you click view larger map, that would take you through to a larger map. Then we've got your contact info there again. Good to have your contact info on every page for search engine reasons more than anything. We were talking about Google reviews and how to make it easy for people to leave reviews. Obviously I've included a link to the Google Plus page, but what if you are talking to somebody in person or on the phone and you want them to leave you a review? Rather than say go to our site and click the Google button, you could say simply go midlanddoctor.co.uk/review. I'll explain what that does. Can you see here where it says redirect 301/review? That means if someone types in your website address followed by /review, it will forward to this address. Let's try it. midlanddoctor.co.uk/review. Now, assuming that they're signed in, which they have to be, a box will pop up and they can type in a review. If they go to midlanddoctor.co.uk/Google, this sends them to the page, but it doesn't prompt them to type in a review. So I think this is a really, really good way of getting people to give you a review without you having to give them the Google Plus address, because look how long it is and no one's going to remember that. You'll die of old age before you finish writing it down with a pen on a piece of paper. Say to people over the phone, it's midlanddoctor.co.uk/review. You could put it on your invoices as well. You could say, are you happy with our work? Please consider leaving us a review. midlanddoctor.co.uk/review. It's a great logistical solution, a really useful piece of web development. I've also added Google Analytics and Google Search Console. These are two free tools that come with your Google account. So if you just sign into your Google account and search, go to do a Google search for Google Analytics and Google Search Console. Google Search Console monitors the health of your website. Ironic, Midland Damp Doctor. And it lets you know if there's any problems, if there's any crawl errors, whether or not your site-map is indexed, and so on and so forth. And Google Analytics measures things like website traffic, traffic sources, that sort of thing. And if you go to Genesis and theme settings and scroll down, this is where I put all the code snippets, and this code snippet is to do with Google Analytics, and that's your tracking ID right there. One more thing, Tom, I wanted to say, if you intend to change the password of your 123reg email account, if you change the password, which is in this document, we both know what it is. If you do change it, you've got to change it in the dashboard for WordPress as well, because the contact form, this contact form, has been set up in such a way that it needs the password in order to send email. I'm using something called SMTP, which securely sends email. And if I go to settings and email, this password here needs to be changed. I've obviously blurred it out because I don't want other people to see it, but if you do change the password to access your webmail email account, make sure that you come and change it here as well. Otherwise you'll stop receiving emails and you won't even know that you're not receiving emails. you just won't get anything. So that's really, really important, so please do that. So that's pretty much the site, Tom. I mean, I could talk about it for hours and hours, but I'll be afraid of boring you to death. As I said earlier on, check out Instant WordPress. You can have a real good poke around in the back end, and if you make any mistakes, it won't matter. All I'll say is, when you receive the USB stick, copy Instant WordPress from the USB stick to your desktop and then put the USB stick away, and only edit the version of Instant WordPress that you've got on your computer. I say that because if you do bugger it up, for lack of a better term, you can just get a fresh copy from the USB stick and start over. So I hope this has been useful. Let me know if there's anything else I can help you with, and it's been great working with you. Thanks. Bye.